The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Trader's Edge with Steve Rhodes. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. The Trader's Edge. Now, Steve Rhodes.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the March 16th, the terrific Thursday edition of today's Trader's Edge Show. I'm your host, Stevie Perseverance Rhodes, who absolutely knows that each of us should always be pioneers of our future versus prisoners of our past. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. And let's make sure we have an extraordinary one. And the easiest way to do that is to always remember that life is happening for us, not to us. That's right. When you and I can make that one little 2x4 shift, it means we can find the gift in every set of circumstance that life is going to toss at us. Now, today, you and I, we're going to go check on the circumstance of these markets. We'll go figure out what those bulls and bears, what those buyers and sellers are communicating to you and I at just past 11 o'clock in the morning. I do want you to know I am absolutely grateful for your presence here. But even more important than that, and that's this, during this next 53 minutes, I'm here to serve you. So feel free to pick up that phone and dial on it at 877-927-6648. Now, if you can't call in, you've got a question, we've got you covered there too. Go ahead and send me an email. Send that off to steve@tfnn.com. Inside that subject heading, if you'd be kind enough to put radio show question. Of course, inside our Tiger's Den, well, then any and every ping will do. So let's go ahead and get this show started on terrific Thursday. Of course, this is Tiger Financial News Network. I'm Steve Rhodes. Welcome to the show. Well, we've got the U.S. indices, each of them trading to the upside. Dow's up 77 right now, S&P 27, NASDAQ 160, Russell's up about 5, Semi's up 60, Tranny's up 75, gold is off $5, silver down 14 pennies, light sweet crude is up 44 cents, natural gas 9 cents, the 30-year treasury up 21 ticks, trading out at 132.11. Leading the charge dollar-wise to the upside is Mercado Libre up $19, about 1 6/10%. Adobe is up $14, 4%. Lam Research up 2.5%, $12. ServiceNow $11, 2%. And HubSpot also up 2%. That's $9 the upside. Leading this charge to the downside, the shakers out there, Regeneron Pharmaceuticals 2 7/10%, 21 points. Solar Edge down 15. That's nearly 5%. Exponent Inc. is down off over 7%, 7.50. First Republic Bank down $8. Avis Rental Car is down $6. That's about a 3.5% move to the downside. We do have a few requests, but boy, I would love more. So let's go take a look at the equity future contracts. Let's start off by doing that. We'll stay on the same page here. Here, what we know, we've got three that have bottom patterns. So you have basically Gartley buys by the D points on the ES Mini. That formed a couple of days ago. The NQ we talked about there in the update, that was the early part of March, that is, March 2nd. The Dow actually confirmed a buy the D point 2 days ago as well. We do have new profiles for the ES Mini and for the Dow. ES Mini profile support is at 3867. And resistance 4,007. In the case of the Dow, support is at 31,951. Resistance is up at 32,797. Really, the Dow has a resistance zone. It's going to be between 32,586 and 32,797. The NQ, which again formed that Gartley buy pattern about 2 weeks ago, right now is trading above the top of its daily profile. If it closes above 12,459, odds favor. It's going to make a run for its recent high. Its recent, the low of that recent high is at 12,632. So that's really the next area to watch. Today's high so far has been 12,556. If price closes inside of 12,632, with or without, well, if it's without volume, we're not completely sure whether it will go attack that high. But if it's with volume, it says it wants to go at least attack that high, maybe even take it out. And that high is at 13,068. But first watch 12,632. If it tests or rejects that level on lighter volume, can't bust it to the upside, maybe tries to bust it to the downside out there. It is only the ES, the NQ, and the Dow Equity Future contract that have those bottoming patterns. The Russell 2000 does not. However, it's early in the day, and the Russell 2000, you can see it's made the 1 to 1.618, A to B equals CD to the downside. If it generates a bullish reversal candle today, it'll join the others. And what it'll be signaling to you and I is that there's a bottom in place. And then we've got to figure out, well, where is price headed to? Well, the first levels that we'll be watching are really getting back to the ES and to the Dow Equity Future contract, and that would be the top of their profiles or their sell zone. Remember, in the case of the YM, it's got a sell zone between 32,586 and 32,797. So that's what's going on. We take a look at equity futures. Just take a look at the daily time frames out there. The issue that the markets have, or the S&P 500, really is what I should say, is this spot volatility index. Now, we're getting a bounce today. We'll take a look at that momentarily. That was expected. Why was that expected? Because we had a one-day rate of change above 10%. Again, we'll get back to that. Right now, we're taking a look at the spot volatility index. The spot volatility index, which is above its 50-day exponential moving average, which is at 2007. That's always a if there's going to be any bad news, a quick rug pull, we'll see the markets cascade to the downside. But that is likely where price is still headed to, is to go test support at 2138 out there. So somebody had asked me, I think it was John C., he wants to re-short the Russell 2000. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the charts out there. But John C., one of the areas that you should be watching is the spot volatility, even though it's just really referencing the S&P 500, but still watch that anyways, because if price tests and rejects that 50-day, which right now is at 2138, that could be your entree into a short position if you see the right pattern, at least on some type of time frame chart for the Russell 2000. But we'll come back to that out here. But this is the real problem right now for the market. So it's one of the problems. There's a few out there. Another one of those problems could just simply be market breadth. If we take a look at that, let's just get this out of the way here, so to speak. Let's take a look at our market breadth. We can see here now, let's get to the S&P 500 first. And in the case of the S&P 500, it is only bullish right now for the 60-minute time frame. It's close on the 4-hour. The 4-hour chart shows 119 instruments above profile, 140 below. So it's close, but no cigar at all. So there's still problems. So you got to expect that this is still going to be any kind of rally. It's going to be a rocky road rally. However, the NASDAQ can lift all markets higher. And if we look at the NASDAQ, it's bullish for its 4-hour and its 1-hour time frame. And it's getting pretty close on the daily. Now, when I say pretty close, 19 instruments above profile, 33 instruments below profile out there. So it's not exactly like it's out of the woods, but at least on the short-term time frame, the NQ is doing what it's supposed to do. These should flip to bullish one at a time. The shorter term should first do it, and the 60-minute was bullish earlier this morning, and the 240 was not. It's now bullish out there, and so we want to keep an eye on that as well. The other pattern that I noticed earlier this morning, and one day doesn't make a divergence, but nonetheless, it was, am I showing the NQ? No, I'm not. I'm not showing the NQ, Mr. Bill. If that's what you're seeing, then we've got an issue in the production area. So you should be seeing a black background chart out here. Now what I'm going to show you is the New York Stock Exchange, the advanced decline. So hopefully you see this black background chart out here. And if you take a look at yesterday, what took place inside of the New York Stock Exchange is we made lower lows with regard to price. If we take a look at the advanced decline oscillator, it's making higher lows. I've got those other divergent patterns that are drawn out here. It looks like some are in red, some are in green. Doesn't matter. It was just a color choice out there. But those can also lead to a bottom. And if you take a look at that New York Stock Exchange advanced decline oscillator, it's in the extreme oversold condition. It's still below minus 150. It has to work that condition off. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kakestat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kakestat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, folks. So we got all the U.S. indices trading to the upside. Let's get to some of the requests that have come in. The first one was to take a look at the SMHs. We're going to change screens here. And that is for Nicholas. And my apologies, folks, for yesterday. Obviously, we ran into some technical issues out there. So good to be back with you this morning. Tomorrow, we're recording the show at the normal time slot, the 11 o'clock slot out there. But right now, let's go take a look at the SMHs. And this, again, is for Nicholas. Let's see what Nicholas's question is. And it is just simply, would you please go over the SMHs and the IWM? So, yeah, we're going to do that for sure. So in the SMHs out here, Nicholas, if we take a look at the upper or the left-hand panel chart, we're showing 3 panels right now. That's the daily time frame. What you'll notice there is a consolidation pattern. So the SMHs are trading within a consolidation pattern. Now, as we speak right now at 11:19, don't know what it will be like at 4 p.m. But if at 4 p.m., price closes above the green oscillator and change line, which is currently at 245.13. You'd like to see it as far away from that as possible. And if it can get far away from that, that's telling us about a move up to the top of the consolidating pattern. We can see how that oscillator and change line has been a deflection point. So it still may be a deflection point. But if it doesn't and price closes above it, well, that would be a bullish or positive outcome for you. That bullish or positive outcome would be is also reflected in the weekly time frame chart. There's an A to B equals CD pattern to the upside. It has a 1-to-1 price projection in the 260 area. What price has done, or what it did earlier in this week, is it pulled back and tested and rejected its green oscillator and change line after changing colors. Folks, that is a bullish signal. It just simply is. So we've got a consolidation that should take price up to the 255 area. We've got an A to B equals C. That's on the daily time frame. On the weekly time frame, we've got an A to B equals CD. That's looking like 260. The whole key out here is going to be whether or not price can overcome that monthly oscillator and change line. This is why we take at least three different time frames just to get a feel for what's going on. Really, the bigger picture, I probably should flip these. We should always start with the monthly, then the weekly, and then take a look at the daily. Why? The daily is just noise, at least when it comes to the monthly. So with regard to the monthly, though, you can see that price is dealing with the resistance area of its green oscillator and change line. As we speak right now, that's printed out at 247.43. So what's the call out here? The call out here is first taking a look to see if price closes above that green oscillator and change line today. Again, 245 and change, 245.13 to be exact. And if it does, then we know we've got this resistance at the monthly oscillator and change line, and that's at the 247.44. And if price can close above 247.44, Nicholas, then we're headed back to the top of the consolidation pattern. Phew! No problem. Now, what should we see inside the SMHs out here? Well, yesterday was just simply a one-day knee-jerk reaction, or at least it is as of 11:21 a.m. So what should we get out here? We should get at least a two-day rally. That'll take care of today and take care of tomorrow. Maybe it's beyond that, but that would just simply be the normal type of dance steps that the market is doing all the time out there. So those are the SMHs. Is there anything that Nicholas needs to worry about? Well, with regard to the SMHs, if we look at a 30-minute time frame, what we're going to see out here is there's the possibility of a TD9 count pattern setting up as price approaches its breakdown level. And that breakdown there is at 248.50. Now, this TD9 count on the 30-minute time frame will not confirm or complete. Looks like we still got to get above. Yeah, it looks like we just did. We just took out the high from that last bar. So we should get a TD9 count pattern, topping pattern, short term, 30-minute, that forms between 11:30 and 12:30 this afternoon. And then we should get some kind of a pullback. A pullback to where? Well, the pullback would typically take us to our oscillator and change line. Right now, that's printed out at 242.60 with price at 246 and change out there. We may also, though, if the TD9 count, it may not form. I don't know. It looks like it will. But we're also get another signal, which is an A to B equals CD to the upside. So on the 30-minute time frame chart out there, that pattern would look like this. We're just going to draw on the A to B leg, or the approximate A to B leg. Then we're going to move that over to the C point here. That C point says, okay, we've got a price projection somewhere in the area of about, try it this way, about the 250 level, 250. So let's say we get the TD9 count, and it looks to me like we will get that. If that pattern fails, and fails like almost immediately, tells us about a strong upward momentum move to the upside, and that price wants to go ahead and complete this A to B equals CD. However, we know that there are sellers that are likely camping out at the 248.50 level. So that becomes your resistance zone. So that's on the intraday basis. It's kind of matching up with what we looked at on the daily time frame. So watch that green oscillator and change line at day's end out here. We're well above it right now. We're 246. But if we get that pullback, well, we just may close back underneath it. And then that kind of gives us a lower range consolidation. So I hope that helps you out, Nicholas. I know you had to wait an extra day on that. And thanks for doing that. Much appreciated. The next request that's coming in is from inside the Tiger's Den. It was from Dan. And I know you wanted to look at the IWM. We're going to do that after we take a look at this instrument, Nicholas. So stay tight. Stay tuned with us. But let's go to the second request that came in. That was from Dan at the Tiger's Den. And he wanted to take a look at ticker symbol TRMB. And TRMB, I'm not even sure what it is, but we're going to find out here. TRMB is Trimble. And trade out at 49.58. It's running right into, Dan, it's running right into resistance at this moment. That's that red oscillator and change line. It's trading with inside a bullish structured profile, and if price can close above that red oscillator and change line, 49.70, it's like 49.70 to me right now. If price can close above that, then what this instrument should do, this is Trimble, should run all the way up to the top of its daily profile. And that formed yesterday, and that's at the 52.86 area. So you got a new bullish structured profile. Do we have a bottom pattern out here? It looks like maybe an A to B equals CD to the downside. I'd probably even have to stretch to do that. But what price was doing was testing its prior TD9 count. Okay, so back here. So price was testing the support of a pattern that had already formed out there. So that low was 47.52. The volume there was 1,020,000. This was volume here was, sorry. Let me move this over so I can actually get this. That was 1.5. So that's interesting. Price tested it on heavier volume. Well, then it came back yesterday. What was the volume yesterday? That was 1.6 million shares. Interesting. Still going against 1 million shares. But So it hasn't taken it out. So here's what I would say, Dan. If Trimble is unable to close above that red oscillator and change line, knowing that prior swing point, that prior TD9 count from back on December 22nd has been tested twice with volume, likely price gets back down and retests that swing point. Whereas if price closes above the red oscillator and change line, that will give us a signal that price wants to make a move to the top of that profile at 52.86. We take a quick peek at the weekly time frame chart. It has a Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom. That was also back in December of last year. That's being tested. Now, that swing point had weekly volume of 5.6 million. So far this week, we've done 4.9 million. But between the normal trading, right, normal trading on this instrument looks like it's 1 million plus shares. So it's going to be testing that swing point with volume as well. So this is not out of the woods. Watch the red oscillator and change line on the daily time frame. That ought to provide you with the information you're looking for. Now, on a 30-minute time frame chart out here, just with regard to what this might be doing intraday, looks pretty strong. It'll look even stronger if price can close above 49.74. Why? Here's a TD9 count top. It forms all that it's led to is a sideways movement. And that's a bullish sign, not a bearish sign out there. But the real bullish sign, Dan, would be a close above 49.74 on a 30-minute basis. That would say we run up to the 51.11 area. So I hope that helps you out. Not too confusing. Just pay attention to each time frame. Don't know which time frame it is that you're using to trade on, and we'll go from there. Watch that daily oscillator and change line level. We'll be right back.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, JDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Dow's up 132, S&P 40, and NASDAQ 216. Russell's up 11, and that's where we're going to go take a look at charts right now. Is for the Russell 2000. We've got the equity future contract up here. Now, We had shown during one of the during one of the previous segments, the A to B equals CD pattern. This is made a 1 to 1.618 A to B equals CD to the downside. What we're waiting for is a bullish reversal candle. You can see none is formed. Well, you could get one today. And so this is for John C. John, if you get a bullish reversal candle today, it is confirming a buy the D point pattern. It's confirming a Gartley buy pattern. That suggests then that price would at least travel up to its red oscillator and change line. That's currently printed at 1835. You know, you got to first. We have to see if the pattern forms today or not. If it doesn't form today, then as far as where to short from, because that's the question. The question is looking for an area to reshort. The first area I'd be watching, because we don't have any profiles out here, new profiles on the daily time frame, would be up at that red oscillator and change line on the daily time frame, 1835. Now price closes, and I don't know what that number is going to be. As price moves up, that number will move higher. So we got to get close. First, we got to get the bottom. Then we can come back and start taking a look at it and picking it apart. But it would be the red oscillator and change line out there. And if you are unfamiliar with that terminology, subscribe to Mastering Probability. I teach you exactly how to program it, or teach you that tool, what's involved with it, and you could probably get somebody to program it for your application. As I have here on the Ninja Trader chart. So 1835, 50 or so is going to be a target, but that's not really going to be the number out there. But you have the gist here. The first thing is to wait for a bullish reversal candle. If you get that, then that's telling us it's moving higher, and then you have to watch the resistance levels. Now, that's one pattern. Another pattern, well, this is likely to form bar number 8 today of a TD9 count. However, if price were to close above the close of bar number 4, that close is at 1788.20, then the TD9 count pattern will just go away. It'll vanish. It will have violated the requirements out there. So if price does close below that level today, we still have a chance to see a TD9 count bottom. But price has got to thrust below yesterday's low. It has to do that either today, tomorrow, or on Monday in order to generate a TD9 count. Even tomorrow, price would need to close below in order to effectuate that problem, 1794.50 out there. So not sure about the TD9s, whether that's going to come to fruition or not. The pattern that's in play here that you really should be watching for is that buy the D point, some type of daily bullish reversal candle. As we take a look at the other intraday charts out here, what we have right now is a 5-hour chart that certainly triggered Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom patterns out here. And if we get another bullish reversal candle now this 5-hour chart doesn't complete until 2 p.m. It's only 11:30. But if you did get that bullish reversal candle and you're trading above profile, that suggests you could actually see a run up to the 1903 level. On a 4-hour time frame chart, you already have a confirmed Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom with price consolidating with inside its profile. We know that profile level at the high has held and has been resistance. This says the profile level at the bottom has held. So at the high, what you're watching is 1774.30. If there's a 4-hour close above that, that's telling you about a further rally. And that first rally should take us up towards the 1820 level, and then above that, 1903. If we take a look at the 2-hour time frame chart, Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom has already been confirmed. Price is trading above the top of its profile. It's just trying to break above maybe a little junior area of resistance up at the 1777.50 level. So I'd say 1777.50 is going to tell you the Russell wants to move higher. TD9 count top that formed earlier this morning, that was at about, it was last night actually. Was it last night? Yeah, it was last night at 10 o'clock. TD9 count, what does price do? It pulls all the way back to the TD9 count breakout level of 1729.70. It didn't get all the way down there. Where it got down to, actually, let's see, what low did it get to? 1729.70. How does that work? 1729.70. That was the actual breakout level out there. That's a beautiful thing. So now what we know here is that if price can close above this TD9 count high, and that price point is at 1777.50, that's going to tell us about a further rally. That's going to tell us that price is likely to head to 1800.70 out there with regard to the Russell. Again, your question is where to sell the Russell 2000 short out here. And I just really starting to think you should be looking more for an intraday long trade than an intraday short trade when it comes to the Russell 2000. But I would be patient. I would be patient at this stage here. And the Russell's the weakest of the four out there. So that is the likely spot that you want to go ahead and short. On an intraday basis, I could tell you maybe to pull a plug right now and watch 1773.80 or 1776.40, but I'm not going to do that. I just think you should be patient. So I hope that helped you out, John, with regard to the review of the Russell 2000, as well as you, Nicholas, who wanted to take a look at the IWM. No reason for us to go take a look at that. In essence, we've really done that work for us. So let's get over to our next request. This one coming from Dano inside the Tiger's Den. And Dano wants to take a look at Ford. If we take a look at Ford trading out at 1170 right now. It's trading below profiles. It might have an A to B equals CD to the downside. So the A B point out here would be the swing point from the trading day of February 24th. 50 million shares, 50.6 to be exact. And yesterday's move lower as it gapped down, much lighter volume. No, 108 million shares. Geez, that's a confirmed A to B equals CD pattern. You can see that forward top with bar number 9 of that TD9 count. You've got to love that. So if I just simply expand out this chart, we try to draw in that. So first, what we also know here is price is coming back and it's testing a prior swing point. That prior swing point, which set up a TD9 count and Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom, was on the day of December 28th. The volume out there, 49 million shares. Of course, it's holiday. Got to expect it's a little bit weak. But it was 49 million shares out there. That high was, or is, 1125. What's the low that we've seen out here? Got to move this away from the wall. That was 119 million going against 49 million. So that was pushing lower with volume out there. And then yesterday, another 100 million shares. So it's pushing into that swing point with volume out here. I think, if anything, what not necessarily today, right now, Dano, but it looks like, you've got a confirmed A to B equals CD to the downside. Let's draw that in, just to get some type of price projection. There's going to be some, support levels along the way to the downside. That 1105 area is one. There's one just below that as well. Let's try to move this and see where's the potential for that A to B equals CD pattern when it comes to Ford out here. And that would take, and this was confirmed from a volume standpoint yesterday, to take you down to at least the $10.33 mark. This is smaller than a 0.618 retracement. So if this is going to take out 1105, or really if it's going to take out that TD9 count bottom from December 28th, that's your real support level to be watching, 1090. Price gets below that, then we're going to see that A to B equals CD pattern really come into play. So you've got a confirmed one as we speak right now. And price below profile, but it's still got another key area of support. We've already discussed those. Those are the daily time frame charts. Let's see what Ford has on the weekly and the monthly in store for us. Consolidation basically inside the weekly with price testing this polar structured profile area at 1160. And the monthly chart here for Ford doesn't look great. I don't have much of a pattern other than a sideways consolidation, so to speak, for about the last 7-8 months out there. That's pretty much all I've got. That's really all I've got from Ford. So, Dano, I hope that helps you out. I don't know if you were looking at anything specific with regard to Ford. I just written down the symbol, so I think it was just you wanted some kind of analysis on Ford. If there was a specific piece of information that you needed and I didn't give you, go ahead and ping me, and I'll make sure to get that to you. Dano, inside the Tiger's Den, wants to take a look at ticker symbol BTAI, Bachman-Turner. And I don't know what the AI, it's artificial intelligence. You know what I love, folks? I love the fact that hopefully you turn into this show to listen to real intelligence. Nothing artificial here, not with Stevie Boy. Steve Rhodes with TFNN. We'll be right back. And yes, BTI is going to complete a TD9 count bottom today for its daily time frame.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. So we've got a number of questions that are in. Let's continue on with those. This next one coming in from, this is from S Star. Always entertaining when listening to you. Well, that's cool. Thank you. That's great because I know I put Mr. Bill to sleep earlier, so good to know that. MGNX stock, fib resistance at $7.58. Where are your levels? Lots of selling right now. Thank you. So as I take a look at MGNX out here, I'm going to pull over. That is, what is this actually? Not that it matters, MGNX. You know, the cool thing about the tools that we use, that I use here, they're agnostic as to what we're trading. And that is a cool thing. So I just see a sideways consolidation now that we open this chart up here. So this is just consolidating sideways from about the 480-ish level, you know, maybe up to where it's trading at around 722. So here, what you can do, is take, so there are some, with regard to resistance levels here, you've got resistance of a swing point. So that's always a good place to start. So here's a swing point it's trading into. That's from November the 14th. Volume there was 1.5 million shares. Got to pull this over to the left here just so I can get this. The volume today, well, actually, I could have looked on my other screen, 1.1 million shares. So you are moving, or this is moving, into a swing point that did, for the total day, 1.5 million shares on November 14th. And so far, it's already done 1.1 million shares. If this closes above the low of that swing point, that is at 671, odds favor the high of that swing point is going to get tested, which it hasn't already. The high is at 757. The high of the day so far is at 749. I would stay with this. There's also the possibility of a to B equals CD to the upside forming here. The swing point that it's dealing with for that, and there's really two of them, there's a number of A to B equals CD patterns, but the most conservative one deals with the swing point from February 23rd. Volume there, 1.2 million shares. Again, for the day, you've already done 1.1. So that swing point would suggest, here's the A to B equals CD there. Again, this is just a small A to B inside a larger potential A to B equals CD to the upside. That would give you a price projection here, just 1-to-1 of about 779. You know, it's really suggesting that it wants to go take out, at least really test that high from November 14th. So I think that is a likely occurrence. You're talking about some selling taking place out there. So that might have been right at a time when you wrote the email. I'm not sure. Because I'm not seeing that, well, obviously throughout the day. I mean, it's had a pretty wide range today, so I take that back. It has, all it was doing this morning, by the way, on that selling to the downside, Super. This is where having these tools, having market profiles as an example, would have helped you to interpret what was really going on. And price was just pulling back and testing support. Oftentimes when resistance fails, which it did here, it has today, it did 2 days ago, the top of the profile. The top of that profile, by the way, is at 640. And so I don't even remember what I was saying out there. So price was just simply, once you get above the top of a profile, old resistance, which it was, and it still may be, I don't think so, can become support. And that's really what it did, is it pulled back and it tested. So this is a bullish looking chart. It's above the top of the profile and it's green oscillator and change line. So you were thinking of just really asking about levels. Where's the fib resistance? Or, well, you got Fibonacci resistance. You said it's 758. What I show here is, as well, is if price can overcome, close above 757, you should see a move up to 883 out there. You got a nice weekly TD9 count bottom. I don't see any, and there was a sell the D point pattern that formed out here that led to this sideways move, but price above the top of it looks good. I don't see any reason for you to jettison this position at all on a 30-minute time frame chart. What do we see out here? I don't see anything that, well, you've got, here. So here's what you're dealing with on an intraday basis. A TD9 count top that took place at 10:30. And that high out there is at 749. If you see price close above 749 today on a 30-minute basis, that tells you we're moving higher. Now, even though you've got a TD9 count top, the overall signal is really neutral-ish. Why? You're consolidating with inside that 30-minute profile with support at 674, resistance 749, and you're above a green oscillator and change line. So it's kind of more of a neutral than it is a bearish type signal out there. So I hope that helps you out. I believe that's the first request from SS. And thanks so much for doing that. Let's go to our next request. Geez, I didn't write down who asked me about GBTC for Bitcoin out there. My apology. I didn't write it down. It also means I didn't write what was requested out here. But if we do take a look at Bitcoin, let me just give you our GBTC. That is Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Let's take a look at what it is and it isn't doing. First, on a weekly basis, we have a confirmed A to B equals CD to the upside. The A to B equals CD high is 1330. That's the high from February 3rd on a weekly basis. And that had a volume of 18 million shares. Right now, you've done 16.7 million shares. You have the half a day trading left, more than half a day left here, and all of tomorrow. So it appears if we get a close above, so you still got to get close above that B point. No guarantee that'll happen. But if it does close above 1330, you've got a 1-to-1 A to B equals C to get you up into the $16 area, knowing that at 1530 on a weekly basis, you have TD9 count breakdown resistance. On a monthly time frame out here, prices with inside its profile, likely going to go target that red oscillator and change line around 1656, ties into the A to B equals CD pattern. On a daily time frame, you are negating, at least at this moment in time, you are negating yesterday's Rhodes momentum indicator topping pattern. We had a bearish reversal candle yesterday. Price then is traded above the high of that pattern. That actually would be the high from March the 14th, and that high is at 1360. You're at 1379. A close above 1360 will negate that pattern and suggest we continue to move higher. I will make note that I do see a wave number 7 top out there. That is letter G on my screen, and you need to see a lower high in order for that pattern to confirm. But really, when I take a look at GBTC, the weekly, again, we don't know where the close is going to be, but if we're to close somewhere around here, it's telling us that we have an A to B equals CD to the upside. The monthly says it wants to move higher, and if we negate that topping pattern on the daily, it's also echoing that message. So again, I don't know what the request was for GBTC, but I hope that that was it. Let's go on to our next request, which was a take a look at natural. Oh, I just was writing the instruments down. I was apparently had a little brain fart there. It was to take a look at natural gas, and I didn't even get the natural gas charts up. Well, let's do that right now. What natural gas is doing, NG, that would be helpful, Stevie, not G, NG. We're in the April contract. We'll be rolling over to May. We should be rolling over, I believe, next week. If we take a look at the April contract, what we're going to see out here, first let me just expand this out. So, and again, I apologize, don't know who was requesting it, but natural gas, if we take a look at the daily time frame, you're going to see a Rhodes momentum indicator bottom pattern out here. That was confirmed on this trading day of February 22nd. That was a key reversal bar that formed out there. We're now consolidating with inside the daily profile out there, and so you've got a bottom on the daily. I can tell you have a TD9 count bottom on the weekly chart out there. With regard to intraday, what's going on? If I take a look at a 5-hour chart, what do we see out here? Not much. really, what I see is the charts aren't popular with my tools. Just there we go. So, yeah, I don't see a whole lot more to really add to the scenario. If you're looking to get into natural gas, now is the time. You have to have your stop in essence below the low that is out there, because that was the TD9 count. That was Rhodes Momentum Indicator bottom low out there. So that's where your stop would have to be. I can understand not taking the trade, because on a weekly or daily time frame, this thing has just been consolidating sideways for about 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 sessions for about almost 2 weeks now out there. But you do have the bottom pattern both on the daily and the weekly. We get back to this break. We've been asked to take a look at AI and Charles Schwab. And that's what we'll do. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back. Dow's up 200, S&P's up 47, NASDAQ 247. The rally is continuing. If we take a look at the AI, and I believe this was for Dan. If I take a look at AI out here, I just see a sideways consolidation. And if you take a look at the daily time frame, you can see it on the weekly as well. But we'll just open up the daily time frame. I don't have well, it's got a TD9 count top. So here's the top. Then that threshold level's never been taken out. So from an upside standpoint, In order for AI to get any traction to the upside, it needs to close above 28.48. But there's a profile at 29.34, so that's the level. That price really needs to close above. You can see the sideways consolidation. You're towards the bottom of the consolidation. If you're looking to take a long position in this, you're towards the bottom of consolidation. You most certainly could take a position. And you'd love to see price get back above its green oscillator and change line, currently at 23.90, to suggest that it wants to move all the way back up to the top of that profile in the 29.34 area out there. That's what I see on AI. I do see a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top on a weekly time frame. It suggests caution, but it's trading into its bullish structured profile area out there. So nothing has been broken just yet with regard to AI. So I hope that helps you out, Dan, with regard to that. The next question is to take a look. This is from Vic, I believe, wants to take a look at Schwab, Charles Schwab. So Charles Schwab does not have a TD9 count bottom. The regional banking index, the KRE, did out there. And I'd be more. And so you took a long position here. All that I can share with you at this stage is, well, I can share with you this. If you get a bullish reversal, you actually have a buy the D point pattern. Look at that. So, I'll just draw in the A to B right here. So here's A to B. You can see that. The C point was really an expansion, right, of that A to B line all the way down there. But look at this. So that was the A to B equals CD. And yesterday you got a bull sash candle. So you do have an A to B equals CD. It's a risky play out there, but you've got at least the bottom pattern. What price should do here, Vic, is get up towards the 64.69 area. That's the top of the current daily profile. It's also where the red oscillator and change line is hanging out at. So that's Charles Schwab. And that's the end of the show. Wish we had more time. Hey, folks, stay tuned. We've got great programming lined up for you. You've got the Thinkorswim and all the other great shows. I will be recording tomorrow's show at the normal time. So we'll see you for Tea and Crumpets at 11 a.m., not 8 a.m. So we'll see you then. Have a terrific Thursday, folks. Thanks again for joining me. Take care.